Good thing this issue wasn't too over the top, cause we just got the Sonic Movie 3 trailer. Cannot handle any more hype. Hey everyone, Marco Game Dude here with my review of Sonic IDW issue 72. Thank goodness this didn't get late. After the events of the last issue, which was the setting piece for all the next issues coming up in this arc, the story starts off with Surge and Kit. Oh my goodness, stop being adorable with that walk. Surge and Kit are walking up the Clutch, stating confidently that they quit working for him, to which Clutch reacts laughing.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Surge comes up to him saying that she's serious, but with Clutch being more firm, he states that the fame that they have is not theirs, and warns them about how he can easily make them be seen as monsters, instead of the heroes that everyone sees them to be. Surge and Kit are reacting very nervous/fearful to his comments. Lastly, Clutch tells them to get rid of Phantom Rider, who they all know is Sonic. Outside, Surge is reacting very badly to Clutch ordering her around, and she sends out massive amounts of electrical powers out into the already pouring storm outside. Later, we see Sonic hiding out in the car, trying to get his disguise working again, but it's busted. All of a sudden, Surge's electrical powers starting to blast everywhere towards Sonic and the rest of the traffic outside. Sonic then tries to fly away, but causes a bit of a traffic jam. Out of nowhere, the Babylon Roads show up. Storm stays behind to take care of the cars, while Wave and Jet, who are bickering, lead the car owners out of the way. Obviously, Jet is trying to take the credit. Man, that guy. Jet then notices Sonic and goes after him, trying to unmask him in front of the crowd of people. Thankfully, Sonic gets his hood in front of Jet, and he manages to get away. He stops right next to a car and begins to ponder when suddenly he gets pulled in by someone. That someone revealing to be Knight, and we also see his partner Dawn. Again, confirmation that they're a thing, as if it wasn't obvious. Love it. They help him hide from Jet, and later, Sonic tells them about his side of the story about what's going on. Knight tells Sonic about the Chaotix and how they're associated with them. Knight reveals that the Chaotix have been investigating Clean Sweep Inc. for quite some time. Using the sweepstakes was a good opportunity for them to do some snooping, and they were supposed to be going on board the shuttle, but Knight hasn't heard from them in a while. Sonic tells Knight that Tails and Amy are on the ship, and for him to find them. Dawn fits his Sonic's tech to disguise himself, and he wears a suit once again, flying off. Back with Surge and Kit, Surge, who is all drained and wiped and just destroyed, she states, first Starline, now Clutch. No matter what they do, someone is always controlling them. Kit, comforting her, tells her that it's going to be okay, and with an ominous face, he says he has an idea. And now finally, we return to Tails, Amy, and Belle, who are running to tell Jewel about Clutch. All of a sudden, we see the mascots from earlier in issue 69. Not wanting to expose themselves, Amy tells Belle to go forth. The mascots block her way, but Belle notices how Dr. Yode's red tie is gone. And she remembers how she was tied up with the same tie. Boom! I called it! Told you! Dr. Yoke then grabs her, and prompting Tails and Amy to assist, but are blocked by the other mascots. Belle pulls her tail and hits Dr. Yoke, and of course, Jewel has headphones on and can't hear anything, 'cause of course she is! Thank you, writers, thank you! Dr. Yoke, out of nowhere, says, "Bro." And then, the other mascot's tail gets revealed. With Amy recognizing it and the smell, the two do their signature rhyme and reveal themselves to be Rough and Tumble. I told you! I knew it was them! Called it! I called it! So then, Tumble calls for backup. And then the trio run for their lives, with Rough and Tumble in pursuit. And that's where this issue ends. Okay, now things are getting even more interesting. 1. Who called it? Who called it? I knew these two would be rough and tumble. The size, the shoes, the postures, the fact that they haven't shown up since issue 67, and the red tie thing too. Ugh, I love being right. So let's break down what we have so far. I'm getting the big things out of the way before going to Surge and Kit. First, Night and Dawn and their dealings with the Chaotix. Thanks to future covers and solicitations, we know that them and the Chaotix are involved with this plot. And it seems that the Chaotix have been investigating Clean Sweep for a while. But Knight says that he hasn't heard from the Chaotix for a while once they started snooping around on board. So it's safe to assume that maybe Clutch and his staff have them locked up on board somewhere. We know that Knight is a commentator, so if he does run into Tails and Amy before anything bad happens to them on the ship, maybe they work together to go find the Chaotix. Speaking of the trio, I knew something would get in the way of them telling Jewel about Clutch. I just can't believe it was headphones of all things. I just hope that they do manage to get word to her, especially if they run into Night, Dawn, and the Chaotix. With Sonic's tech to disguise himself repaired, he should be fine since he's still being chased by Jet in the roads. I know many are saying, why doesn't Jet just tell people that it's Sonic that's a Phantom Rider? Cause it's simple. They're not gonna believe him. Not in the slightest. They're not gonna believe him. So he needs to expose him in front of everyone. That way they believe him. He failed this time, but there's another event coming up. Since the solicitation says that it's the final event, he may try his best to expose him there. Now, Surge and Kit, oh you poor things. Okay, for one, I know many are wondering why Surge and Kit would think that Clutch was letting him go so easily, and they thought the conversation would be like, hey, we don't want to do this anymore, and they says, oh, yeah, sure, go ahead, see ya. Nah, it was never gonna work like that, especially with a mob boss guy. I would chuck it up to, they're still new at the hero thing, so give them time. Now, we also gotta talk about this here. I also know many people are saying, why don't they just attack him? Yes, Surge and Kit can easily take out Clutch with their powers, and we know that Clutch is definitely aware of how they can hurt him. He isn't an idiot to forget that, especially if he's done his research about the two after a star line. But he holds a lot over their heads, in terms of their hero status, and them not wanting to be seen as monsters, and the truth, if he's, actually telling the truth about, if he really does know about who they were before Starline. And you see how fast they complied, especially with how they were already traumatized with authoritative figures. Clutch has some guts to walk up to two people who can easily take him out and say this without being, showing some fear and restraint. Nah, he is a tough guy. So, Surge and Kit, they're stuck until they find a way out. Kit has a plan, but whatever it is, it's unclear if it will work out or not. The next issue would reveal if it does or not, but regardless, we know that Clutch's plans will come to a big clash at the end. Though, with Kit's face here, the plan may be deadly. I just realized, it's strange that we didn't see the Diamond Cutters in this issue. This is the first time that neither of them, same with Mimic, did not show up in this arc. Well, it looks like we will see them next issue because at the end of the comic with the Sonic Letter Squad, the team at IDW states that the next issue, Jewel will apparently share some secrets with the Diamond Cutters. Okay, before you all jump up and down thinking that it's gonna be the duo Mimic reveal, I don't think it's gonna happen yet. It's gonna happen way later. Issue 74 or 75. That's what's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen now. It might be something related to Clutch. But if that happens, it would make Duo Mimic nervous about the plan, because then he'd be like, they're closing in on me. I like this issue. Nothing major happened yet. This is just the calm issue before the storm. A pun to the story that happened, not intended. The next issue is all about a final event at the Extreme Gear competition, where we find out about Surge and Kit's trap, what Jewel discusses with the Diamond Cutters, and we find out who exactly Tails and Amy run into help in issue 73. It comes out September 18th. See you then.